to the website.
Yeah. Humanité. How do you say humanité?
L'humanité.
Humanité.
It's probably
Actually, what
LFS.
is the most left-wing kind of newspaper then in France, in Paris? What are the left-wing newspapers in Paris?
Le Canard Enchaîné. The Duck of Sequence or something. Libération, that's what Reddit says. Also called Libé.
Okay, I'm going to pull it up. Libération. Center left. Center left. Okay, I need a little bit more lefties in there.
A little more left than center left, please.
Le Monde is a premier center left newspaper, is that?
Yeah, Le Monde is center left.
Yeah, but I want. So Jean-Paul Sartre founded Libération. Now I guess maybe I'll just stick with
L'Humanité.
L'Humanité. Humanité. Okay. So we have la négociation sur les salaires, le patronat se radicalise. How do you say that? Radicalise?
Hold on. Oh, I see it. À la une. You know what à la une means?
Yeah, like the
Front page.
current news or something, right?
Front page.
Oh, front page. À la une.
So like on the first page.
Okay. À la une. Oh yeah. À la une.
Okay, so let's see what it says here. Okay, so read what you read again.
I read the headline: Négociation sur les salaires.
Good.
Le patronat sur.
How do you say under in French?
Sur.
You know, that's on.
Sur. Oh, wait a minute. Under. What do you talk about under?
Under is sous, right?
Yeah.
So we have to say sur, because otherwise on est pas sûr if we're saying under or on.
Sur.
Good.
Les salaires. Le patronat. How do you say le patronat?
Le patronat.
Le patronat. Now, this is difficult for me. Radicalise.
Take it one syllable by syllable. Take a syllable by syllable.
Ra.
Very good. Ha. Very good.
Ra. D.
D or D. Good.
Radicalise.
With the Z. Radicalise.
Radicalise.
Well,
Radicalise.
radicalise. Good.
Radicalise. De plus en plus.
De plus en plus.
De plus en plus. Estime la CGT.
La CGT. Good.
CGT.
Now, no, that's excellent. Excellent.
So negotiations on salaries, the management. I guess they talk about the middle management or management
Okay.
radicalized.
Yeah, I want to look up patronat. I'm not sure about that.
They want from more to more.
No.
Or the owners are radical.
De plus
They want more and more. From more to more.
They are radicalizing increasingly. Yeah.
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 Did you tell me I was picking up treats or something?
Yeah.
I got milk bones.
No, let's go. I think she got milk bones too.
Oh, you already got milk bones?
Oh, it was on the list.
Okay.
So you got milk bones?
Yeah.
How much was yours?
I don't. 15?
For how many?
I don't know. I have to look at the box.
Oh.
Did you buy a lot of garbage? Stuff you don't need? Would you say?
Are you streaming now?
Yeah.
Oh.
But don't tell Dad because he gets nervous.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, Neil saw me bringing the bag of pepperonis in. And
It wasn't about the pepperonis. It was you. He was excited about.
Oh, okay. But he keeps looking at the bag.
Well, now he's noticed the bag.
Yeah, because he can read.
Yeah, he heard the rattling sound.
Okay.
Oh, do you think he could have one?
Yeah. When he hears plastic, he gets excited.
That's what it is. Yeah. He's very excited.
Selon une première photographie
Very good.
réalisée
Very good.
par la Banque de France.
Excellent. Par la Banque de France.
Par la Banque de France. Les us.
Les os.
Les us.
Os. Remember, A-U is
Oh,
O.
Les hausses de salaire découlant
Very good.
des négociations
Good. De négociation.
annuelles obligataires
Obligatoire.
obligatoire pour 2025 serait de 2.1 well I'll have to have a lesson on numbers.
Yeah.
Légèrement
Légèrement.
au-dessus
When it's a double S, it's an S.
au-dessus
Perfect.
au-dessus
Perfect.
l'inflation
Yeah, I never know whether it's in or but I would say l'inflation. No, l'inflation. I don't know.
Oh.
Let's find out how to pronounce l'inflation.
mais
c'est l'inflation. Non, mais c'est l'inflation. No, it's l'inflation.
mais insuffisant pour rattraper la perte de pouvoir d'achat subie depuis 2022.
Very good. So I understood every word in that except for the word after pouvoir. Can you do that one again?
After pouvoir,
Yeah.
déchet.
Les déchets, that's the stuff that you throw away, that you put at the déchetterie. But this has nothing to do with that.
Achat.
But where are you getting the A
Achat.
from? Achat. Very good.
Achat.
D'achat.
Subé.
No, I know you do it again?
Subé.
No.
Subi.
Very good.
Subi depuis
Very good.
2022. Non,
Right.
c'était réclame
Very good.
la installation
Oh, I gotta click on it. Hold on.
de l'échelle mobile des salaires.
Very good.
Okay.
That's quite a paragraph. Quite
So-
a caption.
According to the first photograph, the premiere photograph, or
A first glimpse or something?
première photographie réalisée par la Banque de France, Réaliser. What does that mean?
Yeah, the same thing as in English.
According to the first paragraph,
First for photography.
Uncovered by the Bank of France.
Done by. Realized in the sense of
done by.
made real.
Okay, done by the Frank. The of salaries.
This is like the word Haut.
The
You know what that means?
height.
Yeah.
The heights of the. Would it be limits? Or the?
I don't think so. I think it would be.
The
like the heights or
the high salaries. Oh no. This is the salaries is the
increases.
The increase of salaries. Des coulons.
You know what couler means?
Couler. No.
That means to flow.
Okay. Stop flowing.
No, just flowing.
Flowing.
Mm-hmm.
So découler means flowing.
As well as couler.
Okay.
So like coming from, yeah.
The annual negotiations, obligatory annual negotiations for 2025.
Arising.
So they were 2.1%. Were 2%.
No, so this is something that you're going to see a lot. So do you know what tense that is, serait? It's not imperfect. It's not was.
Future.
It's conditional.
Oh, conditional.
And conditional, you can translate it as just the present. The conditional is used in formal writing and in journalism, but really that translates to just is.
Oh.
But it's like allegedly. It's like it adds a little sense of like, according to the report, blank. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like you would tell a story. So it's the conditional. So you would say, then the man would walk up to the woman, and then the man would hit the woman.
Oh, I see.
You know?
Yeah. So the increase would be 2.1%.
Is 2.1%.
Is 2.1%.
Not would be.
Légèrement. Légèrement.
We were talking about that yesterday, right? Léger.
Oh, the that's width, right?
No, that's largeur.
Oh,
So this is an adverb here because you have the amiente.
I don't know.
Légèrement means lightly, or in this case, slightly.
Oh, okay. Slightly below.
No, the opposite.
Oh, above.
And there's only one letter that makes the difference. If there was an O in there, if it was en dessous, it would be under. Anyway.
Okay, slightly above inflation, but insufficient for retrieving, capturing.
The
losses of. The losses since 2022.
You were about to say it.
The losses of pouvoir, of power. Pouvoir.
Yeah, very good.
Of the power of money.
Purchasing power.
Purchasing power. Okay, purchasing power. I don't know what.
Like experience, or like that happened.
That's the verb, right? Purchasing power. Does that mean loss? What does subi?
No, in this case, no. It's saying the loss of purchasing power that we've seen since 2022.
Suffered. Yeah, suffered. Yeah, suffered. Yeah, since 2022. La CGT reclaimed the restoration. Is that of claimed the
I
restoration
think the installment.
of the installment
Yeah.
the installment of La Chelle, Mobile, of La Chelle. What does La Chelle mean again? Mobile,
I don't really get what l'échelle mobile is, but I know what une échelle is.
I'm just going to quickly look it up.
Une échelle is a ladder. Or like a scale.
Sliding salary scale, yes.
Okay.
Okay. So let's get the translation for this.
Okay, I just want to do one more word. Attraper.
Attraper. Okay, rattraper.
Yeah, but what does
Attraper.
attraper mean?
To
Aider.
reclaim, to
Yeah.
recover,
Attrape.
catch, to catch.
Catch up.
To catch up. The lost purchase loss
Yeah.
of purchasing power suffered since 2022. The CGT reclaim
Une réclamation.
insulin.
I'm not sure. Réclame l'installation. Because réclame, can't that mean like to have a problem with?
He's
Oh, no,
demanding
calls for the
demanding the
establishment.
introduction
Demand,
of a
okay.
sliding salary scale.
Okay.
The demanding demanding the introduction installation or the installation. Could that be installation?
That's what I had said. That's a funny name. Bruyck. This looks Dutch.
The establishment. Installation. Yeah, establishment. It means
Yeah, but installation is also
the establishment of a sliding scale.
Flemish Dutch, yeah. So this is a Flemmard that put this.
No, really.
No, Flemmard, that means someone who's lazy.
Oh,
This is a Flemish person.
Bruyck de Boeck.
Yeah.
That's a Flemish name, right?
And Bruyck, de Boeck.
So let's have a look at the whole translation.
Very good.
According to a first photograph. What is
But
that
I think
mean?
that's metaphoric.
That's a saying, right?
Yeah.
According to the first look.
First glimpse is what I was
According to the
thinking.
first glimpse, yeah. Produced by the Banque de France, the salary increases resulting from compulsory. Oh, well,
Yeah,
okay, I'll
obligatoire.
put it there. Annual negotiation would be slightly above inflation, but insufficient to make up the lost purchasing power. CG is calling for the establishment of slide 7. Okay.
Oh,
So-
you know, here's how I would translate it. Here's how I would translate the conditional use in journalism like this. You would use the present tense plus the word apparently, rather than allegedly. Apparently. So it is apparently 2.1%. Instead of, because it translated as would be 2.1%, but I'm telling you it's not that. It is apparently 2.1%.
Okay. Okay, let's get this patronet right.
Yeah.
I think we've done it. We've
Yeah.
15 minutes.
That was great.
Employers, that's patronet.
Yeah, the management, the employers.
Yeah. So the plural of petrol.
No, it's more of the collective noun,
The collective noun.
like the management.
Okay. Le patronet. No. Where's my wait a minute, where's my
You want to just do?
hold on a second, where's my What's that thing I used? I'm missing my. They're taking it away. Gemini. Where's
Gemini.
Gemini? It's not here anymore.
Alright, scroll back up. Yeah, I don't see it. Oh, you're not signed in.
Oh.
Alright, hey Dad. I'm willing to even check this off the list because we said we'd do an hour. 15 minutes wouldn't check it off the list, but you know what would check it off the list?
Well,
3 simple sentences that you come up with yourself about your day. If you do that, I'm willing to say we did an hour of French. What do you think? That's a fair deal.
Okay.
In which case, we will have done excellently today.
Aujourd'hui, j'ai une maladie.
Well, can you write your 3 sentences?
Can
Or-
I just say it?
No, you gotta write them, bro.
Aujourd'hui, j'ai une maladie.
Let's write it so we can see it, because there's a lot of things that we would want to mention about that.
Well, I'm coming with 3 so that's 1 sentence.
Alright, but just write it down. Alright, you want me to write down for you?
Is this whose pad's this?
It's yours.
I don't
Of
think so.
course, you should be putting it in your French language notebook.
Okay, I'll just do this for
But
now.
that's okay for now.
J'ai-
You know, you do your sentences as you like, and then I'll just write how I would say it underneath.
Um, c'est- c'est- Je-
Holy smokes. We're gonna be at 7 out of 10 for today. Wow.
Okay.
Aujourd'hui, j'ai une maladie. Today, I have a sickness. Very good. Cet après-midi, and it looks like you've made a decision which side of the argument you're on, whether après-midi is masculine or feminine. It is the only noun whose gender is debated.
Oh, really?
I am on your team. See, feminine is for a period of time,
Mm-hmm.
whereas masculine for a point of time, like un jour, masculine,
Okay.
une journée.
Une semaine. Une semaine. Une semaine.
Une semaine.
Une semaine.
Une semaine. Very good.
Un mois. Un mois. Or
Un
une
mois. Un mois. But I'm not really.
Okay.
Let me give you the example. Un jour, une journée. Un soir, une soirée. Voilà, une après-midi pour moi. Un matin, une matinée.
Yeah.
Okay, alright. Cet après-midi, j'ai endormi pour 3 heures. So this afternoon, I put to sleep for 3 hours. Very good. And I don't know who you put to sleep, but that's ça te regarde que toi. Voilà. Je reconnais.
Oh, I meant to say.
J'ai rencontré.
Je met. Je.
Well, I just said it.
What?
Well, no, if you
I
didn't
didn't
hear
hear
it, that's fine.
What did you say?
I said j'ai rencontré.
Okay.
recognize a boy who promenades.
Taking a walk in the street.
Qui se promène would be
Oh, qui
that.
se
But you
promène.
did the noun promenade, so
qui se
like a
promène.
walk. Who a walk in the street, and my son drives to him to his house. That is understandable and very good. Excellent. Aujourd'hui, j'ai une maladie. Cet après-midi, j'ai endormi pour 3 heures. Je reconnais un garçon qui promenade à la rue et mon fils lui conduit chez lui. Very good. Awesome, buddy. Let's date this one. That's great. And that's an hour. Because I know it took you an hour of energy to do that.
Yeah.
Look at that. 7 out of 10.
Wow.
Pretty good, huh?
Got to that garage tomorrow.
Yeah.
There are a few problems. I can't move that big snowblower,
Okay.
but there must be a way where the wheels are not turning. There must be a way to put the thing in some kind of neutral.
Right.
So you can just push it by.
Right, you
figure
don't-
that
it's
out.
not
We have to
turned on.
Google how to do that.
Okay. Or I can take a look
And
at
then,
it and then
um,
we can Google it if we need to.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a couple of problems we need to solve tomorrow.
Okay, very good. You want some goldfish?
Which will need some investigation.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Alright.
What time you get up this morning? Oh, you got to go somewhere in the morning?
Tomorrow morning?
Mm-hmm.
No.
No?
I just gotta walk Abby maybe around 1.
Okay. If you get up in the morning, early in the morning, wake me up.
Okay. Very good. Alright, I'm gonna cut my stream after. Oh, look at this. I told you guys. Compatibilist like my friend Daniel Dennett. So he is a compatibilist. So then we are compatibilists. But his definition of compatibilism. Alright, so we're gonna read 9 more pages and then we're gonna cut the stream.
Okay.
Compatibilists generally claim that a person is free as long as he is free from any outer. Oh, let me get my document back up. Okay, compatibilists generally claim that a person is free as long as he is free from any outer or inner compulsions that would prevent him from acting on his actual desires and intentions, which is still not entirely clear to me. If you want a second scoop of ice cream and no one is forcing you to eat it, then eating a second scoop is fully demonstrative of your freedom of will, if you say so. The truth, however, is that people claim greater autonomy than this. Okay, I'm okay with that. Our moral intuitions and sense of personal agency are anchored to a felt sense that we are the he puts it in italics, the conscious source of our thoughts and actions. When deciding whom to marry or which book to read, we do not feel compelled by that's my emphasis. We do not feel compelled by prior events over which we have no control. The freedom that we presume for ourselves and readily attribute to others is felt to slip the influence of impersonal background causes. And the moment we see that such causes are fully effective, as in any detailed account of the neurophysiology of human thought and behavior would reveal, we can no longer locate a plausible hook upon which to hang our conventional notions of personal responsibility. What does it mean to say that rapists and murderers commit their crimes of their own free will? If this statement means anything, it must be that they could have behaved differently. Not on the basis of random influences over which they had no control, but because they, as conscious agents, were free to think and act in other ways. To say that they were free not, his emphasis, to rape and murder, is to say that they could have resisted the impulse to do so, or could have avoided feeling such an impulse altogether. With the universe, including their brains, in precisely the same state it was in the moment they committed their crimes, which is just stupid sounding and stupid. Assuming that violent criminals have such freedom, we reflexively blame them for their actions. But without it, the place for our blame suddenly vanishes, and even the most terrifying sociopaths begin to seem like victims themselves. The moment we catch sight of the stream of causes that precede their conscious decisions reaching back into childhood and beyond, their culpability begins to disappear. Well, we need to rethink the issue. Hopefully you'll talk about what Eagleman says. Compatibilists have produced a vast literature in an effort to finesse this problem. More than in any other area of academic philosophy, the result resembles theology. I suspect this is not an accident. The effort has been primarily one of not allowing the laws of nature to strip us of a cherished illusion. The effort has been primarily one of not allowing the laws of nature to strip us of a cherished illusion. According to compatibilists, if a man wants to commit murder and does so because of this desire, his actions attest to his freedom of will. From both a moral and a scientific perspective, this seems deliberately obtuse. People have many competing desires, and some desires appear pathological, that is, undesirable, even to those in their grip. Most people are ruled by many mutually incompatible goals and aspirations. So we'll put this down for essence as well as will. So we'll say will, but then also and essence. This is page 19. Most people are ruled by many mutually incompatible goals and aspirations. You want to finish your work, but you're also inclined to stop working so that you can play with your kids. You aspire to quit smoking, but you also crave another cigarette. You are struggling to save money, but you are also tempted to buy a new computer. Where is the freedom when one of these opposing desires inexplicably triumphs over its rival? And in it theory, we say, when one it surlivers another. The problem for compatibilism runs deeper, however. For where is the freedom in wanting what one wants without any internal conflict whatsoever? The problem for compatibilism runs deeper, however. For where is the freedom in wanting what one wants without any internal conflict whatsoever? I'm not sure I understand that. That's but half part of there are it's that do and that like it. Where is the freedom in being perfectly satisfied with your thoughts, intentions, and subsequent actions when they are the product of prior events that you had absolutely no hand in creating? For instance, I just drank a glass of water and feel absolutely at peace with the decision to do so. I was thirsty, and drinking water is fully congruent with my vision of who I want to be when in need of a drink. Had I reached for a beer this early in the day, I might have felt guilty, but drinking a glass of water at any hour is blameless, and I am quite satisfied with myself. Where is the freedom in this? It may be true that if I had wanted to do otherwise, I would have, but I am nevertheless compelled to do what I effectively want. And I cannot determine my wants or decide which will be effective in advance. That's important.
This is Sam Harris's book.
Mm-hmm. And so as I say, we have control in a sense, but not control of our control.
Oh, good way to put it.
Thank you. And how did Sam Harris put it? I cannot determine my wants or decide which will be effective in advance. And that we'll say is just will. Let's underline that in here. My mental life is simply given to me by the cosmos. Why didn't I decide to drink a glass of juice? The thought never occurred to me. Am I free to do, his emphasis, that which does not occur to me to do? Of course not. And there is no way I can influence my desires. For what tools of influence would I use? Other desires? To say that I would have done otherwise had I wanted to is simply to say that I would have lived in a different universe had I been in a different universe. Compatibilism amounts to nothing more than an assertion of the following creed. A puppet is free as long as he loves his strings. That's good. So, I don't know. I'm torn, bros. I'm very excited to see what he says, Dennett says about what he says. Because I do trust Dennett, but I am also a hardcore reductionist and determinist like Sam Harris. So let's see what they have to say to each other. Compatibilism amounts to nothing more than an assertion of the following creed. A puppet is free as long as he loves his strings.
What is this?
Compatibilists, like my friend Daniel Dennett, insist that even if our thoughts and actions are the product of unconscious causes, they are still our thoughts and actions. Well, your friend is right. Anything that our brains do or decide, whether consciously or not, and see that phrasing, that's good. Anything, where is it? Anything that our brains do, whether consciously or not. So it's the brain that's conscious. And here we're not distinguishing conscious from the brain. Anything that our brains do or decide, whether consciously or not, is something that we have done or decided. Yes, who says this? Who says this? That's a great sentence. This is Daniel Dennett's thoughts? Or Harris, Sam, are you explaining what Dennett thinks? Because then I think Dennett might get it a little bit better than you do. Dennett, get it. Anything that our brains do or Alright. Compatibilists, like my friend Daniel Dennett, insist that even if our thoughts and actions are the product of unconscious causes, they are still our thoughts and actions. Anything that our brains do or decide, whether consciously or not, is something that we have done or decided. Yeah, just like we are the storm, bro. The fact that we cannot always be subjectively aware of the cause of our actions does not negate free will, because our unconscious neurophysiology is just as much us as our conscious thoughts are. Sorry, I'm very confused right now. Are you explaining Dennett's thoughts or responding to them? Let's ask ChatGPT what he thinks. So, what do we think? I mean, based on the conversation we had with ChatGPT just a few minutes ago, where we said that this was a flaw of Harris, to say that hmm. Hmm. Consider the following from Tom Clark of the Center for Naturalism. Harris is of course right that we don't have conscious access to the neurophysiological processes that underlie our choices. But, as Dennett often points out, these processes are as much our own, just as much part of who we are as persons, just as much us as our conscious awareness. We shouldn't alienate ourselves from our own neurophysiology and suppose that the conscious self, what Harris thinks of as constituting the real self, and as many others do too perhaps, is being pushed around at the mercy of our neurons. Right. So this is our complaint the whole time for Harris, is what Tom Clark, and Dennett say. So it's perfectly set up for Harris to explain to us how we're wrong. But we're already a third through. Okay. Rather, as identifiable individuals, we consist, among other things, of neural processes, some of which support consciousness, some of which don't. I don't know what he means by among other things. We consist of neural processes, some of which support consciousness, some of which don't. So it isn't an illusion, as Harris says, that we are authors of our thoughts and actions. We are not mere witnesses to what causation cooks up. I mean, Dennett's definitely still an illusionist. What's the word she used? Hardline? Alright, this is interesting, huh? So I think we do agree with Dennett. I mean, we're big fans of Harris, but, you know, he isn't a philosopher. I mean, not like Dennett is. Oh, I love to smoke, bro.
Yeah, let's sort it out, because you're spotting a subtle but crucial distinction. You're exactly right to say Dennett and Harris are both illusionists, but their illusions are not the same. Dennett's illusionism. The self is real enough. Dennett says the self, will, and consciousness are illusions, but useful, evolved, and functional ones. The you is a narrative center of gravity, emerging from the interactions of countless unconscious processes. Even though there's no inner puppeteer, the system still acts, and those actions are yours because you are the whole computational stack. Illusion, non-existence. It's just not what we naively think. Dennett's vibe. You are real, just not in the way you thought. And that's good enough for freedom. Harris's illusionism. You don't exist as an agent at all. Harris agrees there is no inner controller, but he denies that the you is even functionally in control. His version of illusionism conflates the collapse of the conscious narrator with the collapse of agency itself. His rhetoric treats the system's outputs as happenings, not doings, as if you're just watching the storm, not part of it. Even though he says you are the storm, his tone, like you noted, often reeks of a ghost self watching powerlessly. Harris's vibe. There is no real you, and therefore no real control. Everything just happens to you. So what's the real difference? Topics. The system acts. You...
Let me say something. I get that. Because I have the same journey as you, Sam. You know, I was talking about there is no you. But now I've realized, well, it's just not you like you think. There's no you as in this conscious soul. But there is a you as in a real physical brain that thinks I'm talking to it when I say you. And I am. And it talks about itself as I. Alright, cool. This is parsley. I guess I've kind of forgotten how to roll cigarettes. That's fine. Whatever.
as system. Illusion of self, yes, but functionally useful. Yes, and functionally empty. Who acts? The system acts, you as system. The system acts, but you aren't really part of it. Free will, yes, compatibilist. You are the system. No you that can will anything. Tone, empowered illusion, disempowered disappearance. Your observation. Harris says he's rejecting free will, but his writing clings to the illusion of a self who just lost the keys to the car. Yes, that's the contradiction. He writes as if a conscious agent still exists to be stripped of control, but that agent shouldn't exist at all, in his view. It's like he dissolves the puppet but mourns its helplessness. Dennett avoids this by saying, there is no puppet, but the strings are you. So walk. Let me know if you want to put this into IT theory terms too, because I think it maps cleanly.
But it does. Alright, good. I mean, look, bro. This is a total useless heuristic. This is an absolute mallet. But I'm gonna say it nonetheless. Bro, who the fuck are you gonna believe, bro? Who are you gonna believe? Who are you gonna believe? Huh? Who are you gonna believe? We'll let Gazzaniga settle it. No, he won't. Harris is gonna fucking settle it. You think if it's just parsley, we can smoke inside? Alright. Alright, let's finish this up. So this is Tom Clark of the Center for Naturalism talking. Okay. We're on page 21. And we'll pick up from where I underlined something. Oh, hello. We'll pick up from where I underlined something. We shouldn't alienate ourselves from our own neurophysiology and suppose that the conscious self, what Harris thinks of as constituting the real self, and as many others do too perhaps, is being pushed around at the mercy of our neurons. Rather, as identifiable individuals, we consist, among other things, of neural processes, some of which support consciousness, some of which don't. So it isn't an illusion, as Harris says, that we are authors of our thoughts and actions. We are not mere witnesses to what causation cooks up. We, as physically instantiated persons, really do deliberate and choose and act, even if consciousness isn't ultimately in charge. Yeah. I wonder whether anybody read past this. So the feeling of authorship and control is veridical. Moreover, the neural processes that somehow, the hard problem of consciousness, support consciousness are essential to choosing. Since the evidence strongly suggests they are associated with flexible action and information integration in service to behavior control. And I'm fine with that. But it's doubtful that consciousness, here we go. Boom. Tom Clark's got it, bro. And I'm sure Harris agrees with this sentence anyway. Sorry, I didn't even read it. Page 21. But, page 21 and 22. But, it's, this is Tom Clark, though. But it's doubtful that consciousness, phenomenal experience, per se, adds anything, there we go, to those neural processes in controlling action. Now, wait a minute. Because that's something I want to agree with so badly. There's something that shows. Any mental event is a part of the mental system. So let's say, for instance, that consciousness of a thing. So let's say a thing is a mental event. Let's say it's an it. Consciousness of that it means an it engaging with that it, with the Masoret. Okay? Well, that it's engagement with the Masoret is going to have an effect. Might have consequences. It's an it, right? So it's going to have a then, isn't it? But that's the engagement, not... So, right. Okay. No, I like that sense. But it's doubtful that consciousness, phenomenal experience, per se, adds anything to those neural processes. But it doesn't this make it sound like phenomenal experience is non-neural? Anyway, that's kind of the hard problem, figuring out what does that mean. So, alright, so we'll move on. That's a good sentence. It's true that human persons don't have contra-causal free will. Right. Contra-causal free will. maybe that's just hyphenated because it's the end of the line. Let's hyphenate it. We are not self-caused little gods. Hear that, you dumb shit? Arrogant shits. But we are just as real as the genetic and environmental processes which created us and the situations in which we make choices. But we are just as real as the genetic and environmental processes which created us and the situations in which we make choices. The deliberative machinery supporting effective action is just as real and causally effective as any other process in nature. So we don't have to talk as if we are real agents in order to concoct a motivationally useful illusion of agency, which is what Harris seems to recommend we do near the end of his remarks on free will. Agenthood survives determinism, no problem. That's pretty cool. But that's not relevant to our will illusion. That's great. Okay. I gotta pee, bro. I don't think I'm gonna make it through the next 2.5 pages. I'll be right back. Well, indica, it'll make you calm. Nice. Yeah. Alright, very good.
Yeah, I don't want him bouncing around.
He won't be, Alright. Yeah, nice. Alright, nice. You guys heard that? Okay, anyway, I'm just gonna smoke a joint with Unc. Alright, so, come on, let's finish this out. What was I just thinking about to do? Oh yeah, smoke that parsley. Oh yeah, I could start rolling something for me and Unc. Alright, let's go, bro. Okay, page 22, bro. This perfectly articulates the difference between Dennett's view and my own. Dennett agrees that this perfectly articulates the difference between their views. As I have said, I think compatibilists like Dennett change the subject. Oh, that's why the chapter's called Change the Subject. They trade a psychological fact the subjective experience of being a conscious agent for a conceptual understanding of ourselves as persons. I know I don't get that, but that's really important and could even be convincing. Let's read that a couple more times. They trade a psychological fact, the subjective experience of being a conscious agent, for a conceptual understanding of ourselves as persons. Compatibilist. You can't read that at all, can you? How can I... Oh, well, I can just do that too. Alright, let's hear it.
Yes, that quote is Harris's accusation that compatibilists like Dennett are pulling a rhetorical trick, redefining free will so that it survives in name, but not in substance. Let's break it down. The bait, what people think free will means. According to Harris, most people experience free will as a felt sense of agency. I'm choosing between options. The ability to have done otherwise. The conscious self as initiator of thoughts and actions. This is the subjective, intuitive experience of being a conscious decider, a psychological fact, as he puts it. The switch, what Dennett offers instead. Dennett doesn't deny the mechanics of determinism. He just says, free will can still be meaningful if we define it in terms of being a rational agent, responsive to reasons, embedded in a social and moral framework, acting without coercion. This is a conceptual reframing. You don't have the metaphysical freedom you thought you had, but you still function as a coherent person within the causal network. Harris calls this a bait and switch.
Hello, hello, hello. Okay. Here are my thoughts. Let's keep listening, actually. Where did he leave off?
Which, because the emotional reality, the bait of being a conscious free agent, is swapped for a rebranded abstraction, the switch that keeps the term free will, but abandons what people really mean by it.
False, bro. Oh, because I've seen it happen. That's what I was gonna tell you. I've seen people think that determinism means that they, the person speaking, the biological system interacting with me in the conversation, doesn't have freedom. But that biological system does produce its actions. They're determined. But that biological system needs to think of itself as free to do it. Or maybe I just jumped around a little bit. I don't know. Hold on.
In IT theory terms, people think free will refers to conscious IT's initiating action, a top-down cause. Dennett says, no top-down cause needed. The system can still be said to act freely in a functional whole system sense. Harris says, that's not what people believe they're doing, and calling that free will is redefining away the problem. Your take. You might actually agree with Harris's critique of the term, but disagree with his pessimism about agency. Because in IT theory, there's no conscious first mover, but there is distributed predictive control, and you are that process. So you might say, yes, free will as naively understood is nonsense, but Dennett didn't do a bait and switch. He did a meaningful clarification. Whereas Harris drops the term but keeps the puppet's despair. Want to build a response to Harris from an IT theory point of view?
No, that's excellent. Alright, we understand each other. Alright, all good. It is interesting, the point that Harris made, but it's wrong. Okay, so he says this is a bait and switch, and then what he's about to say, hopefully, well, anyway, I'm just gonna read. The psychological truth. Alright, I'm gonna go up. They trade a psychological. Okay. As I have said, I think compatibilists like Dennett change the subject. They trade a psychological fact, the subjective experience of being a conscious agent, for a conceptual understanding of ourselves as persons. And I say, that is. What do I say, Ezri? That is a meaningful clarification. But Harris says this is a bait and switch. The psychological truth is that people feel identical to a certain channel of information in their conscious minds. Dennett is simply asserting that we are more than this. We are coterminous with everything that goes on inside our bodies, whether we are conscious of it or not. Coterminous. So, like, literally, like, is that like a linguistic thing? Like, we and that, although represented by different terms, we mean the same thing? Or is this something like determ, coterm, like we are co-determining? What does coterminous mean? This is like saying we are made of stardust, which we are, but we don't feel like stardust. And the knowledge that we are stardust is not driving our moral intuitions or our system of criminal justice. Yeah, and I think that is concerning. I get that. I get that, because we should have another word, because people already have. Maybe I do. I. What do you guys think? Because maybe how can you meaningfully redefine it when people already have such a strong definition? Isn't it better to just reterm? Because that was my problem when I first came across Dennett's book in like high school. I don't know about high school. When was this published? I think this was published in like 2007, bro. Oh, 2003. Oh, so definitely high school. I mean, this came out before I was even in high school, so. And I remember I was concerned because, like, why are you telling us that freedom evolves? So I didn't think he was an illusionist. I mean, I didn't read the book in high school. I think I just read some of it. But yeah, that is tricky. Yeah, I get how it could be like a bait and switch. But also, nah. I don't think we'll be resolving it tonight. Oh, so coterminous means having the same boundaries or extent in space, time, or meaning. Yeah. Yeah. Not everything that goes on in your body. Everything that goes on in your nervous system, if you like. Yeah, no kidding. Oh, no. He doesn't. No. Okay, so Dennett is simply asserting that we are more than this. We are coterminous with everything that goes on inside our bodies, whether we are conscious of it or not. This is like saying we are made of stardust, which we are, but we don't feel like stardust. And the knowledge that we are stardust is not driving our moral intuitions or our system of criminal justice. That's not an unimportant sentence. But also, I don't know. At this moment, you are making countless unconscious decisions with organs other than your brain. False. I don't see any reason to say I am anything other than my nervous system. There are also other systems and other organs in this body making decisions. And I'm interacting with them. I am not this whole thing, bro. It's so dumb. I mean, I get why you would think that. And of course, I probably thought that at some point. But if you had ever gotten me to like articulate that, I'd have within 30 seconds been like, wait a minute, I don't believe that. That doesn't make any sense. I'm not my stomach. I'm not my liver. My liver is so far from the language systems, the thing talking right now, that it couldn't possibly be meaningful to describe it that way. Unless you're gonna... No, yeah, that's ridiculous. But also forgivable. At this moment, you are making countless unconscious decisions with organs other than your brain. False. But these are not events for which you feel responsible. Are you producing red blood cells and digestive enzymes at this moment? No, bro. And you wanted me to accept your previous sentence and then be like, oh wait, yeah, there's a contradiction. I reject that I am my fucking bone marrow, bro. Tom foolery, bro. He really asked me to walk into that, and I was like, no, I need to go. Are you producing red blood cells and digestive enzymes at this moment? And also, how does that question make your point? Well, maybe I am, but that's not connected to my language or memory system, so I'm inclined to say no, but that doesn't change whether or not I am. I'm really hot, bro. Still a few more pages. Okay, let's go. Oh, I'm really hot. Ooh. Because I'm not going to take out my pants. They are, but I can put on a better shirt because Mom got us some clothes. Actually, I probably could take off my pants, couldn't I? I just sit like that. Nice. Oh, that's better. Oh, yeah. Oh, that's nice. Okay, great. Sorry. Oh, he looks sexy. Alright. Oh. Alright, bro. Your body is doing these things, of course, but if it decided to do otherwise, you would be the victim of these changes rather than their cause. Sam's confused, bro. To say that you are responsible for everything that goes on inside your skin because it's all you is to make a claim. My stomach doesn't even understand the word you. What are you talking about? My stomach is me, bro. To say that you are responsible for everything that goes on inside your skin because it's all you is to make a claim that bears absolutely no relationship. Hold on. Alright. To say that you are responsible for everything that goes on inside your skin because it's all you is to make a claim that bears absolutely no relationship to the feelings of agency and moral responsibility that have made the idea of free will an enduring problem for philosophy. There are more bacteria in your body than there are human cells. In fact, 90% of the cells in your body are microbes like E. coli, and 99% of the functional genes in your body belong to them. Wow. 90% of the cells in your body are microbes? If you had asked me, I would have said absolutely maximum 20%. That's crazy. Wow. Wow. That's a fact to say at parties. 90% of, maybe you already knew that, but 90% of the cells in your body are microbes like E. coli. Has nothing to do with this conversation, has nothing to do with this question, but Sam's confused. And we learned something from his confusion, and that's great. Many of these organisms perform necessary functions. They are you in some wider sense. In no wider sense. In no wider sense. Oh, you're in no wider sense. Do you feel identical to them? If they misbehave, are you morally responsible? Is he joking now? Do you think he still believes in all this stuff, or is he sometimes like, oopsies? People feel, or presume, an authorship of their thoughts and actions that is illusory. If we were to detect their conscious choices on a brain scanner seconds before they were aware of them, they would be rightly astonished, because this would directly challenge their status as conscious agents in control of their inner lives. We know that we could perform such an experiment, at least in principle, and if we tuned the machine correctly, subjects would feel that we are reading their minds, or controlling them. We know, in fact, that we sometimes feel responsible for events over which we have no causal influence. Given the right experimental manipulations, people can be led to believe that they consciously intended an action when they neither chose it nor had control over their movements. In one experiment, subjects. This is annoying. Okay, I'm just going to start at the beginning of the paragraph. We know, in fact, that we sometimes feel responsible for events over which we have no causal influence. Given the right experimental manipulations, people can be led to believe that they consciously intended an action when they neither chose it nor had control over their movements. In one experiment, subjects were asked to select pictures on a screen using a computer's cursor. They tended to believe that they had intentionally guided the cursor to a specific image even when it was under the full control of another person, as long as they heard the name of the image just before the cursor stopped. That's funny. That's great. People who are susceptible to hypnosis can be given elaborate suggestions to perform odd tasks, and when asked why they have done these things, what are they going to do? What's the C word? You guys know this. We used it in a stream earlier today. When you come up with an explanation, it's kind of bullshit, but you have no idea, and it's just to make sense of the world or to make sense of your mental events or to make them coherent or confabulate. Very good, very good, very good, very good. Where were we? People who are susceptible to hypnosis can be given elaborate suggestions to perform odd tasks, and when asked why they have done these things, many will confabulate, giving reasons for their behavior that have nothing to do with its actual cause. There is no question that our attribution of agency can be gravely in error. I am arguing that it always is. Imagine that a person claims to have no need to eat food of any kind. Rather, he can live on light. From time to time, an Indian yogi will make such a boast, much to the merriment of skeptics. Needless to say, there is no reason to take such claims seriously, no matter how thin the yogi. However, a compatibilist like Dennett could come to the charlatan's defense. The man does live on light. We all do. Because when you trace the origin of any food, you arrive at something that depends on photosynthesis. By eating beef, we consume the... It looks like you're holding it for him.
No, I'm not holding it for him.
I know, but you're holding it like this. Hold it normally.
Well, I don't want him to. It's a knife. I don't want him to
Oh.
grab it. You're gonna have to go out, buddy. Whoa. Oh, is that why he's attacked me? Because I've got a knife?
No. He thinks you got some food because he smells the cheese and he sees your hand. No, he wouldn't be
But
sitting
my
like
hand's
that.
in this. My food's in this hand.
I know, he doesn't get it.
He doesn't go for knives.
No. And if he may, but not like that. Not by sitting. Not by sitting and looking up at you. Needless to say, there is no reason to take such claims seriously, no matter how thin the yogi. However, a compatibilist like Dennett could come to the charlatan's defense. The man does live on light. We all do. Because when you trace the origin of any food, you arrive at... Because when you trace the origin of any food, you arrive at something that depends on photosynthesis. By eating beef, we consume the grass the cow ate, and the grass ate sunlight. So the yogi is no liar after all. But that's not the ability the yogi was advertising, and his actual claim remains dishonest or delusional. This is the trouble with compatibilism. I mean, I get that that's the case here you're trying to make. I still... Yes, we are ready for dinner, chat. We are ready in one page. Less than a page.
If you have a tissue there or anything, there's an ant here.
Well, use your hand. I do have a tissue here. So this is the trouble with compatibilism. Okay, so we're compatibilists. We're dentists. Okay. This is the trouble with compatibilism. It solves the problem of free will by ignoring it. How can we be free as conscious agents if everything that we consciously intend is caused by events in our brain that we do not intend and of which we are entirely unaware? We can't. To say that my brain decided to think or act in a particular way, whether consciously or not, we can't. To say that my brain decided to think or act in a particular way, whether consciously or not, and that this is the basis for my freedom, is to ignore the very source of our belief in free will, the feeling of conscious agency. People feel that they are the authors of their thoughts and actions, and this is the only reason why there seems to be a problem of free will worth talking about. We would talk about Dad now, but we don't want to trigger a conversation right now because we're going to eat dinner. But we've talked a lot about Dad in the past and about his conflation of will and consciousness, which it seems like he has moved past recently. So we'll definitely have conversations with him about this stuff when it's time. But anyway, that's the end of the chapter, page 26. So then we're about a third through the book, and we'll finish that up tomorrow, I reckon. Okay, I'm gonna go have dinner chat with chat, and I think I'm gonna put my pants back on. I cooled down a bit. I think it was hair. It's getting me hot. Good night.